Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to talk about how to hover. Now, I'm just going to be showing you different builds and my personal opinions on them. I do not use shock trains on hover, so if you were looking for that, I will not be able to meet your needs. Man, there's so much range. Okay, the main reason I do not use shock trains is because they are completely OP, in my opinion. So I just don't use them, and with a hover, because it's supposedly a carbon fiber electromagnetic weapon, your own fire from a shock train can come back on you. Now right here I'm doing the death button setup. I'm going to use it as more of a sneak attack method, but on Canyon it's really hard to do a sneak attack. So let's go ahead and try to take down his shield. Okay, so we exposed his shield so that way he could be executed. So let's go ahead and try to stay away from the Hydra fire here. Now, the reason I do not like to throw the death button setup on the hover is because the hover does not hold very many hit points, and the ones that it does hold, it loses very easily. So that's why I try avoiding using close-up setups. Like, as you can see there, just like one shot, and I was nearly gone. It took down like 1/10 of my health. So I'm going to try to corner shoot this guy. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take him out. There we go. Okay. So yeah, that's what this setup would be more or less along the lines of as far as usefulness. Being a sneak attack. The death button is honestly great for that, especially when on a hover. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay guys, so we're going to be taking a look at the second setup. Now it is the Russian death button setup for a hover. Now I do not enjoy really using Russian death buttons. I feel like they're too OP for their range. But I still like to carry them just to be on the safe side, mainly for little situations like this where I'm going to need them. So the reason I like doing long range, as I said earlier, these bots die very easily, so I like to stay away from people and be able to do significant amounts of damage. Now, I don't mean like go pick up the Hydra or something, because I feel like Hydras on this would just be, it would be unnecessary and unreasonable with your enemies. So let's go ahead and take a look at him. Let's take him down. Now, the reason I am not doing so good with the setup is because these are low leveled. So it's a little bit difficult for me to get good hits. The reason I got such a good hit on him is because he's a Cossack. What does he have? Okay, I'm way too in range. I need to back out of here. Alright, I'm out of here. Yeah, so this does remind me I need to start upgrading my Columbuses and pins. So yeah, there's really not much to say about this setup because it's one of the many long-range setups that can go on this. I'm just using it for an example, so alrighty, let's move on to the next. Okay, guys. So, coming in at number 3, we have, well, not coming in, I guess you could say the third setup is 2 Scourges with a Gecko. So this Gecko is a level 8, and I believe these 2 Scourges are 7s. So, ooh, shock train. So, what I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to try to just stay away from here and just kind of pick them off one by one. The reason this is my favorite setup is because, the shock trains, is because, like, instead of having to just hit somebody, like for a long range setup, let's use the death button for an example, or RDB, Russian death button. The reason that this one is better is because it can only expose hotspots as well, while the RDB it cannot expose hotspots. So I think this one you have more advantages. Now basically what a hotspot is where your bot, it'll light up, and that shows your teammates where their vulnerable points are. So I'm trying to stay away from this guy. I'm trying to veer away. Okay, so I kind of died quickly. I think the main reason is because well, number one, the map. Canyon is not a good long distance map, especially on a map or on a team mode like Team Deathmatch. So yeah, I think that's why I died so quickly there. You'll probably see me run that setup a few times in my streams later on, but we shall see. All right, guys, let's move on to the next. And for the Punisher setup, this one I'm debating whether or not the Scourge with geckos or three Punishers. I'm debating whether or not these are my favorites. I think that the Punisher one, it definitely goes up there pretty high, but I definitely like the Scourges with geckos a little bit more. Mainly because they can expose hotspots, unlike most other setups. And that guy, he just completely did not time his fire at all. So I'm trying to take them out from a distance, but it's a little bit hard since they have pins and Tulumbuses, and their ally has Hydras. So this is going to make things interesting. See, this is the problem I have with Hydras. You don't even have to make any close contact, and you got the guy killed. It's completely retarded, and it's really way overpowered. Now, that's just my opinion. And look, I get killed so quickly for running this setup. Now, this was not the best demonstration, but there will be future demonstrations that I'm sure I will perform a little bit better than this and be hopefully able to counter these setups. Alright. And as for the Taurons, or Taurons, whatever you want to call them, with Magnums, this is probably one of the most common setups. I mean, it's a great, just little plasma thing to run in your Hainer. You just have all the splashes and you're wondering where should I put a plasma. This spot right here is definitely where you want to put it. So yeah. So it's great for the reason I have this particular setup for a beacon mode game instead of like team deathmatch is because it gives you more of a tactical advantage, if you know what I'm saying. So basically, you can hold a certain beacon off if you want. So we are running in beacon rush right now. So I'm trying to back off from these people with shock trains and Orkans. So I'm trying to get into my range where I can kill them, mainly just for the people that have shock trains. I kind of just don't want to mess with them, or not shock trains, Orkans, because even if they do have shock trains, it's not going to matter much. Just given my situation. So what level is this guy at? Okay, so he's not that far from me. Okay, so someone's already got this beacon, so why does it matter if I'm even trying to fight for it? Okay, so this has got to be the most interesting thing I've ever seen right there. The little Stalker won against the Griffin. That's not something. Alright, so they're going to spawn in right here. I can almost guarantee you of that. Yep. Why would you bring in that setup? Okay, I can't really see well. That is one disadvantage, because if you go so high, you can't really see that great. So I just took a lot of damage for that. But as Adrian and a lot of other YouTubers have said, it's okay to give your bot up for the team. So, alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and get into some commentary about the weapon, and, or not about the weapon, well, the weapon too, but the robot mainly. Alright, thank you. Now, in conclusion about the hover, some things I gotta say about it is it's a very, very powerful bot, if used correctly. And what I mean by correctly is strategy. I mean, it can overpower a Griffin, Leo, Hotche, Bulgasari, no matter what you put it to. I guess that would mainly depend on your skill and strategy, and what setup you may have on it. But, like I demonstrated in my last clip, if you just all of a sudden tap that jump button when you are in a battle, it'll shoot you up so high, and even if you're locked on your target, you'll go so high up where you won't be able to get your target anymore, because you just shot up so fast, and you will end up losing your target, and then you'll just end up becoming like a clay pigeon in a sense. So that's why I say I recommend going up slowly and using your hover ability very gradually. It's great for going down and capturing a beacon. It can basically fit no matter what way you put it. If you want Punishers, you want range on here, throw some Malots on here. If you want plasma, do what I got right here. If you want splatter, Tulumbus with pins, or pinatas with Orkans. So yeah, the hover, like I said earlier, if it is used correctly, it can be pretty much unstoppable. And I did mention this, I believe, in my second clip, where I said it is a very very fragile bot. It's like, I guess you could say, like the Fury. The Fury, it has a lot of HP, but this one doesn't even have a lot of HP, and it still loses HP very quickly, more quicker than like give or take a Butch or a Lancelot, but it can be good. I recommend using it only for beacon capturing. It's not necessarily good for like brawling. I mean, it can be used for that, but it's serves a purpose much better for beacon capturing. You can use it as a tactical advantage. You know, you can have this set up and you can jump over a beacon, and they won't even see you because you're like 50 meters above them, and you can just crash down on them, and by the time you hit the ground, they're almost already dead, and you can just finish them off once you hit the ground with your Magnum, for an example, and you can just grab that beacon. While in Team Deathmatch, you got those campers with trebuchets and Nashorns and Keen Days, and once you're in the air, they're going to try to shoot you down. Now, I'm not saying in beacon games there's not going to be people with trebuchets, Nashorns, but it's just less likely, and I guess there's really no such thing as a counter to the Hydra. I mean, if a Hydra is coming at you from a forward angle, you could hold the remote back, the little joystick, and jump, and then probably miss 1 or 2 rockets. But I don't think there's any way to fully dodge a Hydra. Now, as for dodging an aphid or spiral, yes, this can most certainly dodge those. An aphid, you can just all of a sudden jump, and it will miss spirals. You're gonna need to be by some building structure where you can just jump, and they will hit the building. Let me think of an example. You could be on one of your spawn points on Yamantau, where you have all those buildings, and you can just jump up and be protected from most of the bots. It can be used for range. You can hop up really high. So yeah, and you can snipe with like Scourge or Geckos. Whatever floats your boat, this hovers there for you. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Subscribe if you're new. Alright guys, and don't forget to share. Peace.